Hi, everybody. Happy Sunday afternoon. Welcome to Disney Antiquities and Collectibles. I am your host, Vince G. Um, Today, my first guest, I was looking up so many things regarding Philo. And when you start, one thing links to the next, links to the next. And he has so many layers to him. He's incredible. He's done so much. And I am so excited to bring him on. Everybody, welcome the amazing Philo Barnhart. Philo, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing very well. Yeah,
You are in Wisconsin, correct?
I am. Yeah,
Okay.
right
All
along
right.
the border of Wisconsin and Illinois. So
Okay.
I actually do a lot
Good.
of my shopping in Illinois still because that's
You still head over there? You still go over to Illinois a lot?
everything I need is over there. So, and my friend's father has a farm there, so I get to go and visit that every so often.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
nice. That's
it's
nice.
a huge place, and it's when you need to decompress, you just walk around in there, and it's everything gets beautiful again. So.
Yeah. So, I was telling everybody just how, in depth everything is. How old were you? Because I've heard the stories, but your dad was working on the Disney lot, and he took you to the Disney studios, did he not?
Oh, I used to visit him for lunch, before I got into, you know, grade school.
Uh
I
huh.
used I used to just walk up. You could allow your kids to walk, if you knew where they were going, you could allow them to walk a place. You can't do that
Yeah.
any with, confidence. But, we only lived 5 blocks away from the studio, so I used to, walk over there and join him for lunch, and he'd have um, a pass waiting for me in the front office, and, um they'd give me my pass, and I'd walk over to the animation building and go up to his floor, and then we go to the commissary and have lunch. And then,
Wow.
while we were digesting, we walked around the back lot and looked at all the sets, and, they're no longer there. They've all been
Yeah.
torn out, and there's trailers with offices back there now. So
Wow.
very sad.
So
I
you
think
got to see some
one of
amazing
the
things.
sets that are left is, part of the town square from, Something Wicked This Way Comes. That's probably the only thing that's left now.
I love that movie. I
Yeah.
love that movie.
Me too. Well, Ray Bradbury became my friend in 1979, and
Wow.
we were friends from then on. And he was a wonderful man, and I miss his wisdom very much.
He seemed like he was such a great guy. His
He was.
interviews, he was always such a nice person.
He used to
Um,
have Terry and I come to his stage place. Well, we saw the Martian Chronicles that way, and Fahrenheit 451, and I believe Dandelion Wine too,
was
and
that Terri Hardin Jackson?
wonderful ice cream suit. Yes, the very one. In fact, we met him the night the premiere of Martian Chronicles at the El Rey Theater in California.
Wow.
He was. We didn't expect to see him. We just went to see the play. Terry and I
Yeah.
did. We saw it was. We drove by the theater and said, "Wow, it's a Ray Bradbury play. Let's go." Little did we know he was there because there was a bus load of fans that had come in from Oregon, I believe,
Uh-huh.
and there he was. And we almost fell over. And I got to talk to him afterwards, and he gave me his mailing address, and I sent him some ideas that I was doing for a possible short film based on his April Witch from the um, oh, Silver Apples of the Sun, I think was the compilation book.
I
I,
think so.
Golden Apples of the Sun, maybe it was. Um, but the April Witch is one of the short stories in there, and I just really wanted to animate that. So that's how the friendship started.
Really?
Uh, Terry was studying theater uh, at Valley JC at the time, and one of her assignments was to do a lighting treatment for every single scene in a play. So she asked Ray if she could use his script from um, I can't remember if it was Martian Chronicles or Fahrenheit, but they were both great plays. So
Yeah.
he said
So
yes.
you
We
so
went up.
you're
came over
you're
this.
meeting all these people, you're going to this lot, and your dad is actually, this was one thing I wanted to ask you about. Your dad was working on Mary Poppins.
Uh,
So you want to talk more about Mary Poppins?
one of many films, yeah,
Yeah.
that he worked on.
Yes.
Uh, Starting in '44 when he met my mom there. She'd started in '42. Um, she left in '46 because she was expecting my first brother, Rio. Uh,
Okay.
but she and my dad were both working on Song of the South at the time. So
Uh-huh.
that was her last film for a while, and then the '63 she started in the business again. But yeah, dad was doing storyboards probably starting in '61 or 2.
Uh-huh.
Um, as you know, they start pre-production on a lot of these things early, and they're structuring out the script and what the music's going to be, and of course that was like the first time the brilliant Sherman brothers were ever, you know, really used on a film, and
Yeah.
they just did a unforgettable job on that. That's
Incredible. Yeah.
uh, but he got to know them too rather well, and worked on a film of theirs in the '70s. But I'm
Uh-huh.
digressing. Uh, so around the same time, he came home and said, "You know, I'm going to start coaching you with the woolen sock reel-to-reel tape recorder I've got, and we're going to start perfecting your British accent." I said, "Daddy, why are we going to do that?" I want you to I want you to try for the part of Christopher Robin in the first Winnie the Pooh that we're making at the
Uh,
studio. I
yeah.
said, "Wow, that would be cool."
Uh-huh.
Kid hearing that ding ding ding, you know.
Yeah.
So I worked very hard on perfecting a British accent. Couldn't do it
Uh-huh.
anymore, I can tell you. But I thought it was pretty good.
Really?
So 150 little boys auditioned, and out
Uh-huh.
of the 150, I was so proud. I was a runner-up, and Bruce Reitherman, the director's son, Willie Reitherman's son, was the
Yeah.
other runner-up, and so we did our final sessions, and I lost because, he thought his son would do a better job, or he'd be easier to work with, and I thought, "Okay," but I was in tears, and
Yeah.
kids are.
Yeah.
So the tears stopped rather quickly when, my dad came home again and said, um, "Walt would, like to have us both be extras in Mary Poppins,
Wow.
the Let's Go Fly a Kite sequence that I'm currently doing the storyboards for." So I was bouncing off the walls. So
Yeah.
the tears were forgotten very quickly, and we're out of focus, but we're in there.
You got to meet everybody as well, did you not? Dick Van
Oh,
Dyke and the whole
yeah,
crew?
yeah, yeah, and of course
Because
the other.
you were telling me a story about how who you met, and I will let you explain that, and you went and ran and sat up on his lap, and he was talking with you.
Yeah. My dad was very, very sternly told me not to leave the soundstage at break times. They would give us a break because the Klieg lights they used to use in the ceilings of the sound stages to have enough light to get the images on Technicolor film. That they were still using 3-strip Technicolor in those days.
Okay.
Similar to what the people that made Wizard of Oz experienced. They hadn't really perfected those lights from that time forward. They would just burn very, very hot, so they would have to
Yeah.
turn it off, open the soundstage doors, and let things air out for a while. And we would sweat off our makeup, so they would come in, dust us off every so often with powder in between takes, and then they had a little brush to wipe excess powder off your costume. And then they'd scoot, and he'd say, "Playback, action." We go again. But yeah, we shot it all kinds of ways. I think it was 2 or 3 days we were there. But one of those times I disobeyed my father and I wandered back to the animation building where I knew where to go, you know,
Yeah.
um, because I'd been there so often for lunch. And uh, there was David Tomlinson in his tattered cap, like, tattered hat, and, just sitting there on the bench, so I don't remember how I got in his lap, but we were talking away and, uh, I thought, "Oh, this man is so nice," you know? My dad comes running up, says, "Oh, oh, Mr. Tomlinson, that can't be good. My son's sitting in your lap." Something to that effect. He says, "Oh, nonsense. We're having the loveliest conversation. So this is your son?" I said, "Yes, that's my daddy." So he scolded me, but it was all right.
Yeah.
Uh, oddly enough, it's the same bench that's featured in Saving Mr. Banks.
Wow. So it came full circle.
That bench has been out front of the studio since day one.
Yeah.
So that bench is pretty famous.
Yeah.
I had a lot
You
of
know,
squirrels visit me there too over the years. But, so at the wrap party, I leaned over to my dad about 5 to 10 minutes in. I said, "Daddy, why is Mr. Tomlinson being so mean to his children?" And he said, "Oh, honey, I thought you understood. That's called acting." So I said, "Alright." Yeah.
did you so I mean, how many people get to say they were in Mary Poppins, I mean, that's incredible, but so
Yeah.
you're doing all these things, you're growing up nearby, your dad is working there. When did you yourself, because I mean, your career is incredible. When did you start drawing? When did you start doing things that you said to yourself, "Okay, I like doing this. This is what I wanna do."
Oh, well, I started drawing at the age of 2, probably a little bit before then too, once I was able to hold a crayon or something.
Yeah.
But, um, I used to draw on the walls and on the sofa, wherever I could. My parents finally got wise and put paper and crayons into the crib with me early on, and I ate half of them, I'm sure, but, they saved everything I did, literally everything, and they put the age that I was at the time I did each piece, and, so, I was getting pretty good at about age 6.
Yeah.
I did some pretty funny things. My mom saved them for many years. My brothers found them in the house when she passed away.
Really?
Send them in there, yeah. So, that was fun,
What was
but
your first job? What
I
was your first job at
always
Disney?
knew I was gonna do something with art. I mean, from
Yeah.
then on, or performing or singing or something, and I've done
Yeah.
all 3, so, uh,
Really?
lucky enough to do all 3, especially the singing part. I was in the, Disney employee choir for, 10 years, yeah, 10 years,
Wow.
and I did the candlelight, um,
Procession?
yeah, candlelight procession at Disneyland, um, most of those years, and then, 2 years in Florida when I lived there and worked for the company.
Wow.
Similar show, but,
Yeah.
some of the music is different, but you have to memorize 45 minutes worth of music and what
Wow.
your part is like, and, I sang first tenor, which is the higher voice.
Yeah.
Second tenor, which is a little lower. But
So
first tenor,
multi-talented.
I can still sing you the Hallelujah chorus too, that's
You
forever ingrained in my brain.
so you're forever singing then. You're always got a song going in your head.
But I
Okay.
always got to be around creative people and singing and laughing and, except for the time I had asthma real bad, around the age of 7, thankfully, it didn't last too long,
Yeah.
uh, but it was kind of a scary time 'cause,
I'm
you
sure.
go to take a breath and there's no breath.
Yeah.
So that really freaks a child out. But
Yeah.
my classmates, they always bolstered me up and encouraged me, and I I got to be known as the artist of my class, everywhere I went. So,
Really.
um,
A
yeah,
showman. Showman.
yeah. So, uh, just had a wonderful time with that.
What was your first were you hired at Disney first? Did your dad kinda help you with that, or did you go on your own, or
Oh, actually, Uh, my father was, by then in 1977, he was working for Hanna-Barbera
Oh,
doing
okay.
television. He worked all over the place.
Yeah.
We all of us migrate, to wherever the work is.
Yes.
Those times he would be laid off from Disney, he'd go work for um, um, Bagdasarian Productions. They did the Alvin Show, or Farmhouse Films, or wherever it happened to be. Music Classics is where the Sherman Brothers were. He
Yeah.
was doing an animated Puss in Boots feature film,
Uh-huh.
which never really got off the ground, but the music was really fun, and
Yeah.
it starred Sammy Davis as the voice of the Puss in Boots.
Was yeah.
It was really great. Um, and his friend Jack Kinney was involved with that too. Jack was a director at Disney for many, many years. He
Okay.
worked with Dad on Goofy shorts and primarily, but they did a lot of stuff together at Disney.
Yeah.
But Dad was working at Hanna-Barbera, and they put out the announcement studio-wide that they were looking for um, college students or uh, artists that had a good eye for drafting things,
Uh-huh.
because they were starting a class headed by Harry Love,
Okay.
the administrators of the studio, and to learn how to in between animation. Those are the people that put the drawings between the animator's extremes, and you have to learn how to read the charts that the animator draws on the side, so you can see what the timing is. How far you should put that drawing that you're doing
Yeah.
between extremes. If you should favor one or the other, or put it directly in between. I've always thought there was no such thing as a direct in between. You're either favoring one drawing or the other. That's
Yeah.
really how it works out. Because that's how we move in real life. We don't move evenly like this. We move like this, or like, you know,
Yeah.
fast and slow out, etc. I'm not going to give an animation lesson, but anyway. So 30 of us went into the class. I was studying at UCLA 4 nights a week, and um, or was it 3 nights? 3 nights a week, and then exactly 2 of those nights were the nights we studied at Hanna-Barbera, so it worked out perfect. So, my dad would take me from Santa Monica, where we were living at the time, into the valley where Hanna-Barbera is, and, uh, leave me at my sister's apartment all day, and then he'd pick me up, uh, we'd go to dinner, and then we'd go to the class. So and then he'd go up and work on his floor, he'd doing
Yeah.
layouts, and, I would study how to do in-betweens. So, out of that class, all 30 of us were hired, and we all became friends for life out of that class.
Wow.
And, it put new blood into the business. From
Yeah.
there, we all migrated to other studios, and we were always shadowing each other, and, it was just a wonderful time because we always got caught up with each other,
Yeah.
every studio we happened to be at.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. It was like a reunion every time, right?
Yeah. So that very first season in '77, I was working primarily on Super Friends. I believe it was season 5 by then. And another opportunity came up while we were well into, you know, being part of the productions. But
Yeah.
Bob Singer was looking around for people that uh, would be able to handle designing some characters,
Uh-huh.
incidental ones or props for the shows. There's a lot of work that goes into designing the shows.
Yeah.
So uh, he put out the word, and my supervisor at the time, John Boersma, in assistant animation pool, recommended me. And before that, my friend Sandra Bardwash had been hired. Uh, she was known as Sandra Young back then, but she got hired in the model department before, and so there she was when I started working in there. So we had a great time. And the very next year, we in '78 we did design work on Godzilla in
Oh,
1978.
wow.
Barbera, yeah,
Wow.
and a whole bunch of other things. They did new Popeyes, they did new Jetsons. I was pushed.
Smurfs.
I was pushing to get yes, Murphs. I
Yeah.
was pushing to get um, a new Johnny Quest's going.
Oh,
Eventually they
yeah.
did, but I had already left by the time they did get around to doing that. So my
Yeah.
bad, but um, just it was a wonderful time when we were allowed to be as zany as we wanted to blow off steam. Um, Probably the last time I really got to do that was on Mermaid because, as you know, as you can imagine, animation is a very labor-intensive process, so we had to blow off steam somehow.
You
And,
know,
lots of zany.
I was gonna say really quickly, you had mentioned Mermaid and blowing things steamed off. There's somebody who has a bunch of your original drawings,
Uh-huh.
and I would like to bring him on. He doesn't want to be on stage, but he wants to show the pictures. So feel free to comment, Danny. Welcome. Welcome to the podcast. We know you have a bunch of Philo's pictures and original drawings. So I want Philo to talk about Little Mermaid and Ariel and things like that. Let's see if he's ready. See, he didn't yeah. See, he muted himself. So there you go.
Oh,
See?
I wonder what that was done for.
So guys, yes, he is the original creator of Little Mermaid and
One of them. One of them,
yeah,
yeah.
and yeah,
So
one of them and Ariel.
of us
Ariel
plugging
and yeah.
yeah.
And there's your creative process when you're going through and you're thinking of these models, how are you how are you creating them? What's your inspiration for them?
Oh, inspiration comes from all over the place. It can come from the people that are doing the voices for you.
Uh-huh.
It can come from something that you might like from the storyboards that
Yeah.
have been done. Um, uh, Delving into the personality of the character that you're gonna be designing, thinking about,
Yeah.
you know, uh, using their cartoon brain and thinking of like they might think.
Yeah.
Um, you kind of takes on characteristics too. So, and then we're inspired by real people that we might have seen in movies or that we admire, and especially their performances or the way they look, something about the way they look. So I used a French actress. Personally, I used a French actress named Emmanuelle Barrett. She played the angel in Date with an Angel. In
Mhm.
It was around '87 when I was actually starting on Mermaid, and I said I'm going to use her because she's got that long, elegant neck. She's got the huge eyes that seem to be far apart,
Yeah.
and her hair was real wavy. And I also used uh, the gal from Married with Children, the daughter.
The daughter,
I know.
Christina
Applegate.
Applegate.
It's
Christina
Christine.
Applegate.
Thank you. This is old age, folks. Because she had that little shelf, and we also used Christy Brinkley for that kind of thing.
Okay.
What he's showing right now is my Cinderella books that I did. But uh, yeah, so Glenn Keane had his ideas of what she should be, and we just all came together. Mark Ken, Glenn Keane, and myself, and hammered out Ariel. But before that, I was given Ursula to work on with
Wow.
Rob Minkoff.
Yeah.
Was first got there, we were waiting for Dan Haskett to join us from New York,
Okay.
and he was getting there. He was prepared to move out, get started, but they had to have something for me to do, of course. So
Mhm.
they had me work with Rob on developing Ursula some more. So we did some scenes of dialogue, which eventually got cut out because they restructured the entire sequence. But
Yeah.
that was actually the first sequence we did for the one of the first for the movie was the spell casting. Just before the spell and the casting of the spell.
Yeah. Your work is incredible. I mean, I'm looking at it so detailed and it's so just it, the
Uh,
clarity to it is incredible.
these are all these are all roughs from the Cinderella 3 book. Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
That's where she's sitting
And
on the pumpkin coach.
yeah.
Yeah.
And these books are still available, everybody. These books are still out there and they're still for sale. That
Yeah.
you may have some looking, but they are definitely out there.
What they're called is what we created was is called a uh, art pool book.
Mhm.
And we had them for every single character in the Disney canon, and everything gets saved from every storybook ever done, and they're repurposed. Well, we did just a whole bunch of new things for Cinderella 3, and the publisher could then take those and use whatever they wanted to tell the story. So
Yeah.
some are 24 pages, some are 112 pages, which was about the size of the one I did. So originally,
You also did all the princesses.
Yeah.
yeah, that was for consumer products. That one I called the Princess Waterfall. And there's the one with the mermaid,
Yes.
but I also did her in a dress. So in case the client or whoever was using the art
I'll show you the other one.
use her as a human or yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody, that's Danny DeMeyer, by the way. You all know him as my admin in the group. So Danny's kind enough to join us to show pictures because he has so many of Philo's pictures. But so you're working, you're doing all these different drawings and you're doing everything and you're bouncing around. You're so talented. What was your actual title, Philo? Because you seem like you could do so many different things.
Oh, well, just artist, illustrator, I guess.
Okay.
Because
Because they asked you to do a lot of different, asked you to wear a lot of different coats. So
yeah.
that's why I was curious, so much of your work.
Animators are just illustrators that make their drawings move, basically.
See, that's your work is incredible. And I was telling him I wish he was still, doing, drawings and things like that. He's enjoying his retirement, everybody. So no, he does not do commissions. But yeah, that's one of the things that I was really
There's not much drawing for the traditional stuff anymore. So
yeah.
yeah.
There was somebody that you worked with that you've been friends with a long time, and I'm hoping to kind of bring her on really quick, and maybe we can discuss a little bit more. Danny, you care to join us? You want to stick around for a minute?
Here, I'll stick around.
And there she is.
Hi,
there, handsome.
My dear.
How you doing? How you doing?
Everybody's surprised. That's Terri Hardin Jackson, everybody. These three are the best of friends, so I wanted to make sure they got together today.
Yeah. Surprise! I'm really excited that you're there.
Yeah.
And that you're being interviewed and telling everybody about the work that you've done. Yeah. How you doing?
I was telling him, Terri. I was telling him we were talking a little bit about everything, and he brings you up. You guys are so close.
Yeah.
You're saying 47 years of friendship. Is that correct?
Yes. He was riffraff to my Magenta.
Uh-huh.
In what movie?
Rocky Horror Picture Show. So in fact, Philo is the one that told me about Rocky Horror Picture Show because I walked in. We were at we were on Century Boulevard at a Doug Wright con.
Right.
And we heard this music and he said, "Oh, you got to pop in here. You're going to really be surprised." And I completely was surprised. Water, toilet paper, lighters, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Right. And then Philo said, "Well, they do it every week at the Tiffany." And he and I went there and sat in the back row. And then we decided that the performers were really subpar. So we went home and we made more outfits and that all began, man. We killed it. We were there for 2.5 years doing the show.
Oh.
You guys were at the Tiffany Theater for 2.5 years?
We were top performers. In fact, we were rewarded, Philo, myself, and the amazing Garrett as Frankenfurter. When Tim Curry came into town to perform at the Roxy, he brought the entire cast and we got to dance. I danced, did the time warp, and Philo did the time warp next to Patricia Quinn, and it was just amazing. It was we had Garrett got to do Sweet Transvestite next to Tim Curry. So we had everybody there, everybody at the Tiffany. Yeah. They had heard.
I was a kid, and my sister would sometimes have to take me with her if she went out. Did you guys ever perform in Redondo Beach?
I don't know that we went to Redondo. There were several casts.
Yeah.
And there was another really great cast. They might have been the Redondo Beach cast, but they were trying to compete with us, you know. And it was really nice that they were trying to compete with us. But since we weren't competing, do you know what I mean? We were just doing a great show. We had everybody. We had a motorcycle driving down in the theater because a guy had dressed himself up as Meatloaf.
We did something in San Diego for the Comic-Con.
Yeah, I guess we did. Yeah, that's right. We did. I forgot about that, but yes.
Dan was around at the time too, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Danny, you too at the what Comic-Con was like near the beginning of the Comic-Cons, right?
It was the first, second, and third conventions of the Rocky Horror here on the West Coast.
Yeah.
Well, and I got to tell you, the San Diego Comic-Con was really fabulous back in the day when we were there because it was about comics. Go figure. What the heck?
What the heck?
Figure, right?
Yeah. It was fantastic. We were just, it's funny that the Comic-Con's coming up because the Comic-Con used to be so intimate that the cavalcade, the costume, which was not cosplay, it was a costume cavalcade, was 2 hours long. That's it. Now it's like a week with these people. Oh, that's so beautiful. And then there was a day on Sunday where you sat in the lobby of the San Diego Convention Center on the floor. Mm-hmm. And then people like Stan Lee drew from their comic books, and then they made them into, like, they rolled them up and they threw them out to the highest bidder. So they would sketch, and then you would all bid. You'd sit on the floor and bid. And it was only about, Philo, like 50 people.
Yeah.
So it was amazing. It was amazing. It was really incredible.
Through the sea of people.
Yeah, you didn't have to not go into the dealer's room because you couldn't get in. It was just wonderful. And all about comics. Yeah.
Had to use the restroom, you were out of luck.
Yeah. Yeah. Nowadays it's insane. But then it was just really amazing. And it was a great place. It was the only place you could really see anime 24/7. It went like 3 or 4, I guess it went over the weekend, starting on a Thursday all the way to the Sunday. And then if you could get a hotel room that was sponsored by the convention, then all night they played anime. It was the only place you could see all the anime stuff back then.
Yeah.
So it was cool.
Did you guys ever collaborate together? Did you guys ever try to collaborate together on anything?
Well, what did we do? We did Star Wars. So I built a Wookiee, and then Philo built Darth Vader. And then we built a Jawa for our friend Lee.
We actually worked outside the Chinese theater for a while.
Yep, we were paid to do photographs outside the Gromit Chinese Theater while they were showing Star Wars. We were the people you post with.
Terri, did you see my shirt?
I love your shirt. I saw that. I was like, I think you wore that when we were together too, or is that a new one?
What's brand new?
Yeah, it's awesome. That is awesome. But we did that. We collaborated on a ton of things. Mostly,
your car was called Vader 1 back
then. Vader 1. Yep.
Vader 1.
Still the license plates. Yeah, we did all kinds of things together. We made all kinds of wild stuff, and then we did Rocky Horror Picture Show together. We did a lot of theater stuff. We also did Ren Fair, and then my first wedding was a Renaissance wedding, 16th century, and Philo did most of the costumes except for the wedding party. Yeah.
Your wedding.
Yeah, it was exciting. It was really cool. Really, really
cool. So you guys were just constantly bouncing ideas. I mean, you guys were, I mean, here it is, the 70s going into the 80s, and you guys had so much going on. I mean, you guys are working at all these studios and doing different things. The sky was the limit. I can't even imagine all the people you guys met.
I was there when I needed support during Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
Right, exactly. In fact, Philo took me to the Star Trek party for the first one, and there was a giant cake that was the Starship Enterprise. And Philo walked me around, and we were carrying our plates. We were like trying to find a place to sit, and
on Soundstage 8 at Paramount Lot.
Yeah, Gene Roddenberry's wife Remember that, Philo? She came and she found us and she sat us at their table. So we ate with Gene Roddenberry.
Uh-huh.
You
No
remember that,
way.
Philo? They're go, oh, you two kids.
We were
You're
there
trying
all
to
night.
find some place to sit. They sat us at the main table.
He said, "You folks look kind of blue," and he said, "You should be happy we finished the darn film." And I said, "Well, it isn't that. It's just that we were left off the credits." He says, "Well, if it was up to me, I'm sure you would have a credit." I said, "I think it's just contractual because our union,
Yeah.
our cartoonist union, only lets us have a credit when there was 150 feet of film that we had generated." And I don't think we made quite that much, but we were also hired late, so they left us off the credit.
Yeah, exactly.
So that answered his question, but
But there we were sitting with, Roddenberry and
Grace Lee Whitney
it was amazing. And then we danced with Yeoman Rand.
to dance.
She came and grabbed us and we danced with Yeoman Rand. I mean, I know the characters, not the Filo's good with the names. I'm like, this character.
She turns to Terry and says, "Well, would you like to dance?"
Yeah.
They get up.
Gosh, we had a great time. That party was awesome.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Yeah. Yeah. So to answer your question, Vince, yes, we did. We were constantly creating together. It was never a time when we didn't. And Philo was drawing and I was sculpting, and then we were just doing all kinds of stuff.
We all got to our projects too.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And Men in Black and Me with Secret of Nim and all those early things. Yeah.
And then Philo saw that I had built a mermaid tail, so he had me come down to Disney, Walt Disney Pictures or Disney Imagineering, and do swimming sequences for the Little Mermaid. Wow. So I got in my mermaid tail and swam in the tank.
Right.
And he did that for the animators. Yeah, we were so constant. You were responsible actually for my first job because you were Hanna-Barbera.
Oh, that's right.
Remember that?
The BB Beagle show.
BB Beagle show. And Philo and I drove down and I auditioned. And when I came out, I had a job. And I said to Philo, I have my first job, BB Beagle out of Canada.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's cool.
They put you up in that the condo up on the hill.
Yes. Oakwood Gardens.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So they said that, why don't we put the whole troop? I mean, I lived down the hill.
Yeah.
But they said, why don't we just put you all together? And at that point, I was making the space outfits for Philo and I for Rocky Horror Picture Show because we were going to do this whole big finale. So I made our space outfits and our space suits for Riff Raff and Magenta. And man, it rocked, man. You remember that Pat Breimer brought down Greg, so he played Rocky.
Yeah.
So he made him his little golden shorts, which he took back with him. So, yeah. So it was all kinds of things from Star Wars to Disney to just.
I remember Joyce DeWitt was one of your first guest stars.
I kept saying one day, she was one of the stars.
Yeah.
Joyce DeWitt from Three's Company. Wow.
She was one of the stars up in Canada.
Didn't she have like a basket of muffins that she would bring to you every day?
Yeah, she'd bring muffins and she loved them. She said, "Oh, I love puppets." She kept saying, "I love puppets. I love puppets."
I was going to say, all the work that you two have done, are there? I mean, because you guys have been left off a lot of credits, I'm sure, but there's things that you guys have been left off of so much. We would be shocked, right? You could probably sit here for hours.
But there's like, for example, IMDb told me that because my name wasn't in the credits, they couldn't give me a Ghostbuster credit. And yet Variety took out a full page and my name was on that. Richard Edlund and the team, Ivan Reitman took out a full page of Variety to apologize to all of us who had been left off the credits, and my name is in there. And but the nice thing about not being in a credit is that you can decide whether or not you want to tell somebody that you were in the movie, so you can kind of keep your anonymity, or however you say that. You can still keep your life pretty private, unless you want to show somebody, hey, I was in Ghostbusters, I was this and this, and then you prove it,
right.
The other day, I gotta tell you, Philo, I just came across my maid outfit from Rocky Horror Picture Show. Yeah.
Wait, are we talking a revisit? Are we talking a reunion?
I doubt I'll wear it. I doubt I'll wear it because that was long ago, and the wig is long gone. But yeah, I had it, and I still have my mermaid tail.
I
And
remember when you borrowed my book of photos that mostly Lee had taken pictures of
yes.
and makeup, and you took it with you to your family because, and you showed them the pictures.
Yeah, they were like, "Oh,
And I
she's
wear more makeup ever unless I show them these pictures.
And Philo and I would sit there and say, this is a lot of fun, but the downside is you do 2 shows, and the second show is at 2, so you're getting home in the wee hours, and you're like, oh, I still have to, like Philo. Remember that we were like, oh, we still have to take all this.
We all crashed in my little apartment there.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
But
Yeah.
I remember stopping for gas on the way home after doing the show, and
that was great.
staring at us. You tell this story.
No, you got to tell it because it's really fun when you tell it.
Well, Terry and I were working around the car. I was filling Vader with gas, and she was cleaning the windshield or something, and we were dressed as the characters, and Garrett was in the back, just total Frankenfurter drag, and Sam was like, he was about to flood his car. Terry turns to him as Magenta and says, "What are you looking at, you weirdo?"
It's just really great.
I have to keep him busting up. I might as well stay in character, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Those were the days.
They were.
See, that's 40 years ago, and you still remember that with clarity. That's funny.
You can't help it. It was really funny.
Those are things you never forget.
No.
Yeah.
No. And I would imagine you have a lot of people who do what they call cosplay now, where I don't know if people, you'd have to ask them to post in your comments or whatever if they've ever been in a situation where they're wearing the outfit and someone is just looking at them very strange. I remember Philo, you remember Paula Christ.
Oh yeah.
And she was dressed as an ape from Planet of the Apes, and she went to buy bananas. At the market. She was on her way to the convention, and she went to buy bananas, and she told us.
Wasn't it Garrett that did the caterpillar from Alice in Wonderland, and they pulled
Yeah.
up the drive-thru?
Yeah.
Some fast food, and she put the money in one of her hands and fed it over to the
Yeah.
She fed it over to the girl.
I'll take 2.
Oh my gosh.
It's all about entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to convince Philo he needs to come back to California, do some Comic-Con, do some shows, come to Carolwood Barn, things like that. So I'm trying to entice him to come back. Maybe, we could all get
basically
together.
just come for a visit. Like if you don't want to do something where you're going to be like drawing all the time or whatever, then you can do kind of like what I did the last time. Sam is an author. He used to write books for Disney all the time, and now he has a Patreon page because he's gotten in a van, and he just drives all over national parks and shoots and writes about it. And so he came to see me, and I said, "Hey, the barn's open. You want to go?" So people came, and it was just like a secret little opportunity. Yeah. So he sat and he talked, and if somebody brought a book, he autographed. But it was more casual instead of making it formal. So if you feel like you don't want to make it a big formal thing, then you can make it more of a casual thing.
Sure, anything.
Yeah.
I always love doing your pumpkin carving shows too.
And that's crazy now. Everyone is doing it, but that's because of Outrageous Pumpkins, the show.
Great.
You've been with her on the pumpkin show on the Food Network?
No, he and I have done it together as teachers. It was before
at the Carolwood place, right?
Yeah, we did Carolwood. We taught Carolwood. We taught. We also did it at the Garden Grove Historicals, where we mostly did at Philo.
Oh,
Was
okay.
Garden Grove Historical Society.
Everywhere, yeah.
Yeah, and he would help people draw the characters, so he would go through.
And then it was up to them to carve.
Yeah. So he had.
Also, you would put something on the pumpkin. They'd carve it out, and you would kind of coach them as far as doing things like that.
Yeah, or he'd do it on paper, and then they could transfer because I had taught them how to transfer it. They'd punch it, and then we'd talk about how to make it. Yeah, it was great because at that time we would have like 60 students. So it was great to have Philo there helping me at least get people started, and then I'd go around and do the other. Yeah, that was something. That was really something.
No, Danny has a lot of my stuff.
I was just going to say, Danny, did you just buy everything that Philo owns? I mean, he keeps holding it up. I'm like, he's not a fan or anything.
Stack that's about 2 inches thick that I won't show because of certain rules.
Danny goes, Vince, I'm going to be on the podcast just showing pictures. I don't want to be on, but I'm just going to show pictures of all of Philo's work. And I'm like,
it's a flip book.
Yeah, it's a living flip book.
He's got to be
Danny's the flip book guy, right?
Yeah, good Lord. Just every single thing.
Everything that Philo
I guess Philo just Dan, I got a new drawing, and he says, yeah, send it over. I'll buy it.
Yeah.
Okay. I was even surprised he even had this, but Philo, you are an amazing artist. Really, truly an amazing artist.
Yeah.
Philo, what you don't know is Danny is starting the Philo Barnhart Museum out at 29 Palms. So that's what you know.
Come on out.
And you will have to make an appearance for that.
Yeah, you will have to make an
appearance for that so that they know that you do exist. But yeah.
Oh my gosh. So you guys are
for that one.
So you guys, you're constantly in these traveling circles where everybody knows each other. Yeah. When was the last time you guys saw each other, that you guys were together?
The release of our first book. So I did a book with Lynette, my best friend, called Giggling Pumpkins. And we did a tour back in Indiana, and Philo came down and he visited us, and we hung out together at a coffee shop and sold a couple books and
real good
visited with the guests and stuff. But mostly we just shot the breeze together.
He had a smoking jacket on that day.
Yeah, it was wonderful. Yeah, I still have it. I wore it yesterday, actually. I wear it, and today I didn't. Aw.
Y'all remember this little lady?
Oh yeah.
See.
Oh my God. Yeah, and exactly. So Nim, he did all kinds of things besides just Disney. He did all kinds of stuff. Yeah. That was just a blessing.
I was going to say, between the two of you guys are so far reaching with every studio. You guys have every major studio you guys have worked at one time or another. Yeah,
we pretty much I just followed him.
I think he's pollinating.
Yeah, I follow Philo. Philo and say, hey, you need a sculptor? Or whatever. Yeah.
I was gonna say, some people look back on their careers and go, okay, I spent 30, 40 years at one job, but you guys did so many different things that I'm sure you're reminded, oh my God, I forgot I did that kind of thing, So your careers are epic. I mean, you guys are legendary. So I don't know how you guys are not actually Disney legends. Anybody out there? Anybody? Disney legends?
Yeah, what's the matter with you? What's the matter with you, Disney?
Disney? Darn it. Disney legends, hello.
They do not know what you know. Okay.
We need windows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody care to start a signing project where we send it to Mr. Iger? Who knows?
That's it. Mr. Iger, the definition of a Disney legend is one who helps the Disney parks and the animation.
They're concerned with that kind of thing right now. So.
Well, they many people like Andreas Deja say, really, it doesn't have the meaning that it did before. Now it's more of a bargaining chip. Doesn't mean I still think they should make us a legend. I do. I think they need to, because we fit the criteria. Andreas said this. I used to not think I fit the criteria, and then Andreas Deja says, what do you have, Dame Bramage? Of course you do. And he started to list, everything. And I was like, okay, all right, I'm going to change my speak,
The last time I
And
saw him, he
he's right.
was in the now gone art store, World Supply, which was right across from Hanna-Barbera where they were original.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
More time after I got evicted out in California, he was in there. They were
Yeah,
about to close the store forever, and he
I
says,
know.
I'd better come in and do some shopping. And he says, Philo, I'm the last person with a pencil standing.
Yeah,
Where's everyone? They're all gone. I'm looking
I
at
know.
Bambi. I said, Bambi too, really? He says, yeah. That's going to be it,
Wow. So
And then,
Andreas was
and
the
now the
last one.
animators are back.
Wow.
They're
Are
back
they
now.
hiring? Do they hire them, or they contracted out?
They hire them. They've got some that are hired, and then some that are contracted out. But a lot of them are realizing, as John Horney will tell you, that you make more money if you're a contract. You can kind of have your own company. You can do your own thing. So there are those that are under the umbrella of Disney. Yes, there's still people like that there, but because if you can get a pension, good for you. But there are also those that realize if they have their own company,
right,
then they can do what they want,
right.
and
That's how they got Enchanted done, and
exactly.
Mary Poppins Returns, and the recent 100-year anniversary short that they did with all the characters posing
Mhm.
for
Yeah.
a photograph. They contracted it out, and people did their work right out of their homes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
talked to
it's
Bill
not like they
Farmer.
don't have the setup, Philo. You had the setup. They're very happy to have the setup at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I talked to Bill Farmer a few weeks ago. He was on the podcast, the voice of Goofy.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and Bill has never been under contract with Walt Disney. And he's done all his work since 1987, just contracted each time he works. And then, he's a Disney legend. Of course he's a Disney legend. You guys are all Disney legends. I love that about you guys. But so I mean, who
But
knows? I mean,
that's interesting, isn't it? Yeah.
it is. It is. I mean, Philo, if Disney came back and said we could use you, would you consider coming out of retirement?
Yeah, it would depend on a few things, but yeah, that would be fine.
Yeah, one is like to work at home, please.
Yeah,
Can you see him? No, just his hand.
No.
Bob just got
Okay. See, but you know what? That would be fun. That would be fun if Philo could work from home and still could work for Disney, do some stuff. Guys, you got a legend. I mean, any Disney people out there, but I digress.
Okay.
What are you guys currently working on right now? Terri, Philo, what are you guys working on right now? Anything? Or I know Philo, you're retired, but anything you guys are working on in particular?
Just working on occasion with my friend Gary Summers, who's running the convention I'm going to next weekend.
Okay. What convention?
This could be the 10th one I'm going to. Northeast Comic Book and Collectibles Extravaganza. It's in Foxborough, Massachusetts, and that's how I met Gary, by doing his first show, the first show for me anyway, with him.
See, so he still does conventions.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I go all over the place. But Gary's written a show for Broadway called Beasties, and he started working on it, on the music for it, in 1984 or so. He's been gradually adding to it, and it's quite a project. Yeah, it's a science fiction rock opera.
Oh, wow. It sounds wonderful.
Wow.
So
it sounds good.
If you go to Beasties, beastiesrockopera.com, I think is what it is.
Okay.
You can see some of the videos that we have been able to put together. And so far I've just got the heads of the Beasties chanting, Beasties, 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 Beasties. But the idea is to broadcast these characters on stage with the live actors. So
Yeah.
it's
That sounds fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
The show is
Yeah, that
very
sounds
cool
fun.
and different. So yeah.
Okay. You know what? Real quickly before I ask Terry, Steve Spain, if you're out there, he is real close to you for your Disney Fest. So message me after, and I'll put you in touch with Philo, and you guys can talk about that. But Terry, you've got so many things in the hopper. Hatbox Ghost, just throwing it out there. Just just asking.
Not yet,
I mean,
but it probably will be up near the front. But absolutely,
okay.
I mean, that's pretty nice when you got there. That's a pretty nice one that you have there. But we're getting ready to get back onto the Rolly Crump chess set, which I'm very excited to do.
Oh
Just
boy.
just as soon as I finish my stuff for my father. So we just
Yeah.
sold the house, so it's just a matter now of the lawyer going before the probate judges and making sure that they're happy, which I don't know why they wouldn't be happy. And then we'll, pay what we need to pay, and then if there's anything left over, we'll divide it, and then I can sleep for about 4 days because it's been a very
Yeah.
very,
Stressful.
very crazy time. Yeah. Yeah.
The Rolly Crump chess set.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that. I actually was talking to Chris Crump the other day, and I didn't want to bring that up too much, but I
Did he talk about it?
I would love to talk to him more about that. I wanted to bring that up. We were talking about just things that are going on and what he's got in the hopper. I'm hoping to have him on the podcast soon, but
that would be good. He's also his book, the book right now, Rolly's book right now. He found out there were a bunch in a garage, so he's trying to get them all sold. He's so cute. Yeah. He says, "I found these books in a garage, and I want to get them sold now." You go, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But he is very excited about the chess set. He hasn't heard much about it, and then he was curious as to how I was going to work with the family, and I told him that is still a matter of speaking with Rolly's wife about, and but what he needed to know was that originally I was just going to make one set and give it to Rolly and I would be done. But Rolly thought it would be nice to offer it to a lot of people to see if they want to buy it. So we don't know how many will buy the set and how many will buy just representations of each of the 6 chess piece figures. So your knight, your pawn, your rook, all of that. So, but either way, it'll be beautiful. And, I think everyone will love them because no one has ever done the Museum of the Weird before in 3 dimensions. And so Rolly was very, very happy with it. We designed all of the pieces before Rolly passed away.
Yeah.
So it's just me finishing them up now.
Yeah.
So.
Philo, have you seen these pieces? Have you seen them at all?
No, not yet.
Yeah, I'll send you a picture. Rolly insisted that they be close to 6 inches long. So they're like this big. And it's amazing. I kept saying if we made them normal size, they'd be easier to sell, and he didn't care.
Yeah.
He didn't care.
Well, just know from the time that I did a podcast with Terri probably about a month or 2 ago, and just know from that time I've been selling blood ever since to get ready to buy one of those chess sets. I go to all these different places selling blood, saving money because I want one of these chess sets.
Well, I want to pitch to her, and I'm sure she'll agree, is that we should get them ready to be released in October because that was Rolly's favorite month.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to try and do.
Coming.
And Christmas is coming, right?
Yeah, Christmas is coming. Yeah.
Either one of those would be good, right?
Yeah.
Because you could say, Rolly's Museum of the Weird. But it has been a joy to sculpt them. They're just so much fun. So I'll do those. Yeah.
I was thinking, and I could be crazy. Philo, maybe we can get you out here for October. Maybe I can, get you out this way and, take a drive, maybe go out there, grab you, bring you out here. Some pumpkin carving, just hanging out for a little bit, if you can find the time in October. I know you're retired, but who knows, right?
Yeah. I'm already getting booked up for things, so that's a possibility.
Mr. Retired, who's not doing anything but booked up.
booked up. I was gonna say.
Well, I'm making books. I'm not completely full yet.
I'm not buying it.
Well, to me, that's not work; it's play. So
There you go. That's all the definition. You know, you may not do commission,
That's all, yeah.
but
traveling is the
you have
hardest.
so many drawings that people can buy when you're there.
Yeah.
No need for commission.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, guys, this has been my favorite podcast. I mean, being able to connect you guys back up. Danny with the Mr. Flipbook, Terri, your time. Philo,
Hey, I
again.
wouldn't do that just for anybody. All right,
Danny, you're amazing. I can't believe all the stuff of his you have.
I know, right? I got a lot of your stuff too. It's just I didn't think about doing that when I was down there with the studio. I should have brought it and done it while you were.
And it's pretty difficult to flip Groot.
I was trying to get him to bring Groot in the house. But he said he wasn't going to do it.
Heavy.
My stuff, you can't, he has to go like this.
I actually showed Philo it earlier, so.
Oh, did you?
He actually got to see
and
Groot.
showed me the Groot. Yeah.
Yeah. I did that one of a kind, and then Dan saw it and said, "Oh my God, I really, really want that."
Uh-huh.
And he bought it, and then he was seatbelted in the back of my Mustang as we drove it to see Dan, and then in his, it's the perfect spot for that sculpture. Really.
Remember the little space people you made for me?
Yes.
The 2001 A Christmas Odyssey?
Yes.
Oh
Yes.
Scaled astronauts. They were about as big as I'm showing here.
Yeah. Yes.
Tiny.
Yeah. Philo said, "I need some little men." Don't we all?
Okay.
I love
See,
you
and
both very much.
if we're bragging about things that we have,
Oh,
yes,
look at this set of ghosts.
Terri just did these. Well, I
They're
got
beautiful.
these thanks to Danny.
Yeah.
There's them.
Yeah, one of the,
Beautiful.
and I don't know if anyone told you, Philo, but Disney actually, for the first time in Disneyland, put Professor Phineas in the cloak.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in the ride.
Oh.
I tell people I'm being watched.
Oh.
Disney watches to see what I'm doing, and then they copy it, but it is their stuff, so they can copy all they want. It is their characters.
They're paying attention then.
Yeah. They just go, "Hey, Phineas in the cloak."
Yeah.
So Disney, I'm happy to ask people, what do you want? And then if you see anything you like, just make it for everybody.
Right.
Well,
collector wins.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guys, thank you very much. It's been an amazing
Great
episode.
to see you, darling. Always a
Stick
pleasure.
around if you can for a second. I am going to clear us out of here. Everybody, thank you for showing up for today's Disney Antiquity Collectibles podcast. Philo Barnhart, special guest Terri Hardin Jackson, Danny DeMeyer. I will see you guys again next week. Take care, everybody. Have a great week. Bye-bye.